Stablecoin has drifted lower again. Now we have had another small push down in price. For me, nothing really has changed. This looks like a normal pullback. And I'm not panicking. And it really is just a case of wait and see. What I want to go over is a few scenarios on the charts and the key levels that I'm looking at. And also a scenario that happened in the past which is similar to here, just so we don't delude ourselves. I'm Harvinder. I've been making these video updates since 2022. I've been in Bitcoin since 2015. And so if you haven't come across my videos before, I make these kind of video updates every day. So subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that like button and let's get into it. Okay, so zooming out. This still looks okay to me. You know, we're still in an uptrend. I know we've just come out of a downtrend. And, you know, my buy signal did flash recently. So I'm not panicking. You know, yeah, we've broken these little levels here. So let's zoom in and really see what's happening here. And I have these different scenarios drawn out because, you know, we just don't know. Yesterday, the price was around about here. We did hit this trend line. We could have bounced. We haven't. And so I'm going to delete that. I do still think this kind of target is in play. We just have to wait a little bit longer, it seems. And, you know, from here, it probably is realistic. It's probably going to hit this level. I mean, it might chill out for a little bit and then hit it and then bounce up. But I'm going to delete that for now. I'm going to delete these as well, just to tidy up the charts. I don't like too many lines on them if we don't need them. And so I would say this is still in play, you know, this support trend line. And I did say if this breaks, then yeah, we're probably going to go lower. And this rising channel I was looking at, that's what's probably more likely to play out. And, you know, again, I am bullish. We have got to take it day by day. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go back in time and go back to a very similar situation. And this was after the all-time high in November 2021. So if we look over here, we had this resistance trend line. And, you know, it took a while for it to break through. Very similar to what happened here. It took a few months. We had the all-time high in November. This time we had it in October. And then it finally broke through in February. But this time it broke through. It's a similar kind of timeline. Because if you think it's just a month difference. And you can see we had this channel here. Let me just draw in the lines that I was watching at the time. So it's something like that. And I'll just copy and paste that and drag that down. So we had a similar kind of pattern. But then in the end, it ended up just breaking down. And so that's why I am really keeping a close eye on this. Because if it does break this, then yeah, I'm not calling bear market just yet. And it's tricky because this is definitely in play. But when you consider the economics, the general setup of the market, it's difficult to see this playing out, especially with them printing money. And we could have a flash crash like COVID, but then we'll quickly V-reversal out of it. And so, yeah, short term, I am bullish. Medium term, I would say bearish. And, you know, really, we just don't know. Like back then, I remember I was feeling the same way. I was bullish. I was thinking, okay, we're going to come out of this now, but we didn't. You know, I was wrong. And, you know, there's a good few years of pain after that. And so it's a very similar situation now. Very similar. You know, we had, like, if you look at it, we had a top, pullback, another top, and then it's come down again. So really, this is pretty much a very similar pattern to here. And so, yeah, like I'm still bullish. So that's my situation at the moment. Over here, I was bearish. Once it crossed this convincingly, I switched bullish. And yeah, really, we need to break this level here for me to flip bearish again. And, you know, ultimately, it will recover. And it's not looking that bad. I know this is a good few days of red. People aren't happy about that. I want to quickly go back to this chart. This isn't encouraging. This is the stablecoin dominance chart. And, you know, there's different ways you can draw this. So really, realistically, it's when you look at these different charts together, it might not pump anytime soon. We might have at least a week or two's worth of pain before it starts pumping again. We don't know. When the US markets open up today, they were closed yesterday. I'm not too sure why. I don't really follow them apart from the charts. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens here. And there's a very good chance, I think I did speak about this last week, where this is a rising wedge and it could break out to the downside. So if this breaks, then, yeah, there's definitely going to be more pain for Bitcoin. And gold is just continuing to go crazy. Silver continuing to go crazy. It's hit my target that I talked about. I said, look, this is where the range where I could see it heading. But it doesn't look like it's going to stop. And so, yeah, platinum is shaping up nicely for another pump. It's a nice little coil there. Nice little compression. So yeah, this is very much likely to break out north. One thing I wanted to do, actually, I wanted to overlay Bitcoin on the gold chart. So let's pull up a cleaner chart, because I want to see if there's a correlation between gold topping out. Actually, no, I want to get a clean chart. I want to see if there's a correlation between gold topping out and what happens to Bitcoin and the rest of the markets when that happens. So let's have a look. So let's go to the weekly. I'm going to delete all these lines. I don't seem to have any clear charts. All right, so this is gold, and really Bitcoin only goes to here. So let's add Bitcoin. Now, what I really want to see is when gold tops out, what happens to Bitcoin when gold goes on a run. Because you can see over here, gold went on a massive run over here where the price almost doubled. And then once it topped out, it started to decline, and that's when Bitcoin took off. And what's been happening more recently? So I haven't planned this, I just felt like doing it, so we're just doing this in real time. So if we look at this, Bitcoin, if it follows the same pattern, gold's just been going up like that. Bitcoin has too, but it hasn't had like a blow off top. And I may be clutching at straws here, but I want to see, if gold does eventually top out, and then what normally happens then is that money starts rotating into the rest of the market. So there's some kind of correlation there. I mean, it's not the best, it's not the strongest, but yeah, I would say once gold finally does top out, and it hasn't yet, that's what we'll probably have to wait for, it seems. Wait for gold to top out, and then the markets will start to pick up again. So they are my thoughts. Yes, the market isn't great. We've dropped, 5-6 grand over the last week or so, or a few days rather. And I don't think it's over. I really don't think it's over. I think it's just a case of waiting. But again, I'm not being deluded. If we break those key trend lines, then I'm definitely jumping back out of the market. Right, I'm going to leave it there. This is longer than I wanted to record. But yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate you all. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I'll see you in tomorrow's update. Thank you.